Here we go. All right, we're back on. Welcome, Majida. Jean.
Sorry about that. Sorry, Jean. I just wanted to check on that.
No, I'm glad you caught it. Thank you so much. So we are starting again, and it's a pleasure to be here. And I'm thrilled to be having this opportunity to connect with you all. So I'm coming to you from Aotearoa, New Zealand, greeting you from here. Happy to see people from all over the world. And we'll put again in the chat the link to the book. And my personal endorsement is that this is such a practical book because it offers specific tools to look at specific skills that will help us integrate into our beings, into our days and our evenings and our just how we interact with other people so that we can begin to experience the world that we want to live in. So yes, please buy the book and please support CNBC. So my personal words about CNBC are that without CNBC, I would not have had the opportunity to meet many of you and to meet Jim, so many friends, so many teachers, and to deepen in my own experience of learning and sharing NBC. So I urge you to support CNBC, whether that means through buying the book or through a one-time donation to CNBC or through, even better, as Jim said, a monthly donation, because that provides some predictability for budgeting and planning. So I want to say that I'm giving the title for my workshop as Freely Give, Freely Receive. And the specific skill that we're working with here is open-hearted flow of giving and receiving. So I just want to actually bring in Jim's description of this from the book, which is, this is about transforming scarcity thinking into thriving creatively, joyfully contributing and receiving. So isn't that the world we want? We want more joy of giving and receiving. And I'm adding in this idea of freely give, freely receive, without those barriers that we put up of have tos and shoulds and expectations, all those things that we bring from our cultural conditioning. I'm also wanting to say that I appreciate Jim as a great model for freely giving and receiving. And this entire 24 hours and this entire book is such a moving example to me of freely giving and freely receiving. Freely, Jim has given so freely of his time. And I'm imagining it gives him a chance to receive the gratitude and the presence and that sense of contribution when people receive what he has to give. And I focus all of this in going back to Marshall, right? Marshall is the start of all of this. And this is the foundation, right? So right here on page 4 of Nonviolent Communication, a Language of Life, we have Marshall saying, what I want in my life is compassion, a flow between myself and others based on a mutual giving from the heart. A mutual giving from the heart. That's that freely give, freely receive. And I also want to just briefly bring in how this quality of compassion is described in this song that many of us probably are familiar with, these words from Ruth Biebermeyer. I never feel more given to than when you take from me, when you understand the joy I feel giving to you. And you know my giving isn't done to put you in my debt, but because I want to live the love I feel for you. To receive with grace may be the greatest giving. There's no way I can separate the two. When you give to me, I give you my receiving. And when you take from me, I feel so given to. So in our time together, we get to explore this concept, this practice. And I just want to say a little bit about how this is operated in my own life. So part of the beauty of the book that Jim is selling, and hopefully which some of you are buying, is that it breaks down the progress from when we go from unconscious and incompetent relating to the skill, all the way through to conscious competence. So for me, I was reflecting on, growing up, you don't think too much about giving and receiving, you're just kind of living. And then gradually you take on some of those messages, right? You're supposed to give certain gifts at birthday times or holiday times. And you're supposed to receive gifts, right? You hear all the supposed to's and the have to's. And it becomes quite bound up in rules and shoulds, or demands even. And I can remember moving into my young adult years where I wanted to give gifts to my friends just because I really loved them and cared about them. So there was moving into that element of choice. And even then there was this sense of, oh, but what's appropriate and what is too much, and what will it be like if they receive? And then if people want to give to me, is it okay? Is it okay to really receive this? Do they feel like they have to? Or do I feel then like I'm indebted to them? And are there certain expectations attached with these gifts? Then as I began to learn more about MVC, I realized, there's liberation from these have-tos. And I can move from all these thoughts about what I'm supposed to do back into my heart. And what am I longing for? And what really matters here? And I learned that there's a whole multitude of ways that any of us can meet our needs for contribution or for meaning. And that can free me up from thinking I have to give a certain gift, or they have to, or I have to respond in a certain way to the other person, because they also have a whole range of possibilities. I'm not the only one. So we can liberate ourselves from that kind of giving and receiving. So open-hearted giving and receiving to me is much more authentic and much more of a flow. And it can be small. It can be small, like, I'm just moved to say hello, or I'm just moved to, yesterday I just felt like making gingerbread cake, right? So, and it's a gift, right, in a way, because it's a gift to my partner. He likes gingerbread cake. But it's also then he eats the gingerbread cake, right? And I enjoy that he's receiving that. So there's just more joy all around. Or even today, right? I'm giving of my time here. But am I really giving? Yes, I am. But I'm also receiving the gift of your kind attention. And we're just giving and receiving. We're just flowing together, learning together. So in the spirit of learning together, I want to create some breakout rooms here in a minute where you will have a chance to explore open-hearted giving and receiving. So the request is, actually, first I'm going to ask you to write for a couple of minutes. So if you have some pen and paper or on your computer or whatever works for you, I want to give you a chance to just consider this for a moment. When in your life have you experienced open-hearted giving, where there's no expectation on the other person or on you, you just open-heartedly, freely gave something? So I want you to just write for a couple of minutes so that when you get into your breakout groups, you're ready to share the story. And so you'll take turns. One person will just share the story of freely giving, and the other two will listen and then everyone will take a turn. So yeah, so I just want to make a pause here before we go into the writing exercise, just to see, and I might need some help to see if there are any hands up for questions. Any questions about so first, just individual time to write. Is that clear? Any questions? Not seeing any? Okay.
Just from me, Jean, is it 3 or 4 people you'd like in the breakout rooms? Did you say?
I'd like 3 in the breakout rooms. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me, I'll just recreate that.
Yeah, you can do that while they're doing their individual writing. So, well, actually, yeah. Let's do the individual writing and then go into the breakout groups. So just take about 2.5 minutes to just jot down some notes, to think of that experience and what it felt like, and then jot down some notes about what you might want to share. And then at about 16 minutes after the hour, we'll go into the breakout groups. Is it possible to put the exercise in the chat? Yes, I imagine it is possible.
I believe it would be.
Mm-hmm. I will write my request in the chat right now.
I'm getting messages from 1 or 2 people about not being in a breakout room. Because I'm doing them automatically, I would just ask if you'd be so kind as to just exit the breakout room if you don't want to be in one, and then I will move people if somebody is with less than 2 people. Would that be okay with everyone? Hopefully so.
The only thing I would say is also include a couple of empty ones, because there'll be people who don't want to be in at all.
Could they come back to the main room, Jory, and then put their microphone on mute? Would that work just as well?
That's fine, but there is a button that says add room on the middle if you want, so.
Okay, got it. Okay, I've added a couple and I can move people in there.
So let's just take about another up to about a minute, and just to think about your story, not just think about your story, but experience what it was like to freely and openly give from your heart.
Hello?
Hello? Yes, Karen?
Hello, I'm sorry, I'm not able to join the group. I'm on my cell phone. I can't work out how to indicate that, so I apologize. You may have to go back into the main room.
I'm here. This is Tara.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll sort it out. Okay, so I
Thank
would
you.
like to
Thank you.
move to the breakout groups now.
Oh, I see.
All right. So in the breakout groups, you will have 3 minutes each to share your stories and to listen to each other's stories of freely, open-heartedly giving from your heart. Thank you.
And then usually there's 2.
So Jory and Jim, I've attempted to put you together in breakout room 24.
Thanks, Jan. You're doing a great job.
That's very sweet of you, Eric. I'm going to probably exit the room myself.
Could you make me co-host again, please? I'm here for backup technical support.
Sure.
Thanks.
You are co-host also now?
Hi, Jean. Thank you.
Hi.
Great.
So is there a way to put the people who are not in a breakout group? Like to put me in with Eric and Jan, and I don't know
Yes.
where Jim and Jory want to be, but to put us in a separate group without
Yes.
the participants.
I will, I'm just looking for you. You could also just exit and then I can reassign you.
Okay.
I haven't found you yet. There's a lot of people to scroll down until I find you.
Jean should be at the top of your list because she's not in a room right now. She's in the main room. Is that not the
I'm
case?
sorry, I'm getting various
I-
requests. I'm getting more than one request at the same time. I'm sorry, and Jean wasn't at the top, otherwise I would have done that. But sorry about that.
It's okay. I actually can't leave the main room because that would make me leave the entire call, I think. And I wonder if we're meant to pause the recording while we're in the breakouts.
I think Jim was saying to not worry about it unless we can just, I mean, it's okay if you want to, just remember to restart it, that's all. I can try to help remind you. Oh, there we go. Hi, Deborah.
Hi, Eric.
Hey.
So we're sorting out the rooms.
Yeah, I was in a room, but there was nobody else there. There was two people, but not one of them said they couldn't connect, and the other person didn't speak. There was just an empty room.
Yes, me too.
Jan, I'm afraid you're muted. I can see your mouth moving, but I can't hear what you're saying.
Okay. But what I was trying to say is that sometimes it lets me see everything I need and sometimes it's not. Eric, I think we're in the main room now. I'm just trying to find people trying to move people. Maria, if you go back to the main room, you are in the main room, I think.
Did you just move Ahmed? He was in the middle of talking and I lost him.
Janet, I think you're in the main room with us.
I left my room because one wasn't responding and the other one got taken out of the room. He disappeared.
Gotcha. I believe you.
Well, thank you. It's technology. I'm grateful for it though. It's we had 3 continents for a moment.
Pretty cool, huh?
I've started NBC here in Buffalo during COVID, and I was just telling Ahmed, we've grown very close over this time, and yet we've never met each other personally in person.
extraordinary, isn't it?
It is. We've also been doing racial healing circles for the last couple of years
Ooh.
during COVID, and the same thing. There's a real strong group that we are facilitators, and yet we've never been in a room together.
That sounds amazing.
It is. It's I think Zoom offers an opportunity to really focus on the person. Actually, I don't have a computer with video right now, but you know, you're actually concentrating on the person speaking, you know, looking into their eyes and stuff.
And Gita, I just
Absolutely.
invited you to room 2.
So I'm just checking, all the people who are here in this main room, are these all people who do not want to be in a breakout?
I don't know yet. I'm
Hey.
I'm trying to ask them. Deborah, would you like to be in a room, or were you one that didn't want to be in a room?
Yes, I would like to be in a room, please.
Okay.
And
have
I
to
would
go.
also like to be in the room. Sorry.
Yep,
Maybe
I'm
they can be
trying to
together.
get to you. Okay, you'd
Yeah,
like to be
put
in
the
the
two
same one.
together because there's only a couple minutes left now.
Okay.
Me too.
So
Okay.
Janet, you have an equal sign in front of your name, which indicates
That was from the last thing. I'll take it off.
okay.
I'm not seeing you, Deborah, easily for some reason. I guess the time will be up very shortly.
Is there 3 or 4 minutes left?
I wasn't able to set the timer, I'm afraid. So I would say there's probably about that much left.
Yeah, so maybe they could talk to each other for 2 minutes each.
Deborah, are you Debbie Rosenblatt, or are you just Deborah? Because
just
I'm seeing a
Deborah.
Debbie.
I'm just Deborah, and I'm in the main room.
So if you look on the main room, you can probably find Deborah there.
And it looks like Margaret is here with me in the main room too.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I see the main room, but I thought that they would show up as unassigned so that I could assign them.
They're not. they're showing up as in the main room. So I don't know if you can still
I understand that, but normally when you're assigning the breakout rooms, it says unassigned and I can move them. But at the moment, it's not showing me that. So
Yeah, I was assigned, but nobody else showed up. So I came back to the main room. And I think the same thing happened with Deborah.
Oh,
I was in room 12.
I was assigned, and then the
Jean, did you mean for me and Deborah, if she's still around, just to talk in the main room? Is that what you meant?
No, I was hoping that the two of you could be paired up in a small group of 2 people and still have time to do a little bit of the exercise.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes, I have moved her to a room and I'm trying to find you now. Here we go. Do you see the invite now, Margaret? Sometimes when I opened up the assign to, it was not giving me the option to scroll down to the empty rooms. So I'm not sure why that was, but and there were some people who didn't want to be in a room. I assume that those are the people that are left on the screen because they haven't told me just yet that they wanted to be in a room. So
And it sounded like Dory was trying to say something right before we went into the breakout rooms.
I put them in a room that they requested together.
Okay.
Jim and Jory are in a room.
Okay. I'm guessing it must be just about time to come out. Is that right? Is it going to happen automatically?
It won't happen automatically, but I let the time go because there were so many rearrangements. So,
So many things to keep track of. Yes.
well, yeah. So I would just, if you'd like to let me know, I can send a message to everybody with how many more minutes left.
30 seconds.
Okay. So I gave them 30 minutes, 30 seconds to prepare, and then I will close the room and they should have, I think, another 30 seconds.
Okay. Thank you.
Actually, it looks like the default is set up for 120 minutes, so I can just bring everybody back.
Yes, please.
I think a lot of people start to come back anyway.
Mm-hmm. It looks like it.
It's not giving me the option to do that. Not sure
To bring
why.
everyone back.
Yeah.
Eric, can you help bring people back? Come
Sure,
back.
but if you can give me make me co-host, do you know how to do that, Jan?
Why don't you just tell me how to do it, Eric, and I can do it. If you tell
Okay.
me.
I think so. I have to remember. So I think if you go to breakout rooms.
I am in breakout
And-
rooms. Yeah.
Okay, and then what do you see on the bottom of that? What does
Yeah,
it say?
that's where I was expecting to see it, and there isn't anything there. But it's only 22 seconds now, so everyone will be back shortly. Yeah,
Once the countdown is started, you can't do anything. I didn't understand. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah, and I wasn't realizing I've never not seen it set to 120 seconds before, so not to worry.
Yeah, exciting, isn't it?
Oh,
living in
here
the
they come.
living in the moment.
Here they come. It's so good to see the faces come back. Okay, so I hope we're all back. I can only trust that we are. I would love to hear from people. What did you notice? And what did you feel? What happened in those breakout groups? So if you could raise your hand, and I'm going to ask my support people here to help me notice the hands. Because I can't see everyone at once. I don't see any hands. Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
there's
Okay,
one.
go ahead and unmute whoever said that. I would love to hear somebody speak other than
Hi.
me. It would be a real gift.
Hi, Jean. It's Ian. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Jean. So, in my breakout room, Iris helped me with a process by which to discover what was underlying my not being able to give freely. So I have a big block with giving freely. I'm always either trading, trying to get something back, or I give and then I give with resentment, like a duty, and then I don't like it. And we sat for a while and went through the needs that were underlying what I wanted back from giving. And it became as simple as just acknowledgement or affirmation. And then from there, we transitioned to just being able to do that physically, just in the room by ourselves, and also just as a practice for me to be able to start to get the validation and affirmation I need from myself, and not necessarily depending on getting it from somebody else after I give freely. So that was very helpful for me.
Thank you. It sounds like a new discovery.
It was, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Who else would like to share what you discovered? I see A. Don V. I don't know how to call you by name, but if you could go ahead and unmute, that would be wonderful.
Yes, this is Don from North Washington State, next to British Columbia. At the start of this, I thought, I don't have anything to say on this. I don't have anything where I've been giving and receiving. But then a partner in the group was a lady from Malaysia and talking about her family and relatives. So after hearing her sharing, I thought, yes, I have giving and receiving. I've really enjoyed doing volunteering, especially trail repair and volunteer work here in Washington State, and other kinds of volunteering. And then in my teaching, I've taught both secondary and community technical college, including in Australia. Well, I was giving knowledge, skills, empathy, communication to the students, and getting back the results. Seeing some people gain in knowledge, skills, and even get careers going, and attitudes changed and intentions changed. So thank you. I just got it. I started out with, I don't have any, and then I got into it. And thank you very much for bringing this up, and I got into it. Appreciate.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I'm enjoying your example of, you gave of your skills and your expertise, and what you received back was knowing that your gift had an impact. Is that it?
Seeing the results.
Yes. Seeing that your gift had an impact. Yes. And that was a gift back to you. So that gets into that really interesting place where giving and receiving end up being kind of the same thing. Yeah. Who else would like to share? One more share. Not seeing one.
I see GT and Connor both have their hands up.
Okay, let's hear from GT.
Connor
Thank you
has
for
hand
your
up first. I'm sorry. I think Connor has a hand up first, so I will give it to Connor.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we had an interesting discussion, and I was touched because someone in our group made the connection that freely giving is a form of love. And, I'd always thought about it as kindness or thoughtfulness, but I hadn't really thought of it as love. And then we went on, well, I'll leave it there, but it was a very interesting discussion.
Thank you. Well, what I noticed from my own life is there's that place when you're first building a friendship or you're first falling in love and you want to give because it's fun and there's no expectation and it's just because you want to, right? So for me, that link really makes sense. Yes. And there was someone named GT who also wanted to share.
Oh yeah, if in our group we have some contemplation, and maybe as philosophical question is there such a thing as unconditional giving? Because at the end we give to satisfy some needs, contribution or whatever, and maybe it's okay to not being unconditional or freely. I don't know, like what is the definition?
Yeah. Thank you. it's an interesting contemplation. And I guess only by living into that question, then we make some more discoveries. Yes. Okay. So I want to have one more exercise. And it's very much like the other exercise, right? So I invite you to take, actually this time, maybe only about a minute to write a situation where you experienced someone giving to you and you were actually open to receiving and without a sense of expectation or demand, and what that felt like. So I'll give you about a minute.
Breakout groups.
And then we're going to do breakout
Be
groups.
quick.
And they'll be quick breakout groups, right? So you'll only have about 10 minutes all together in the breakout room. And that hopefully will give each of the 3 people in the breakout room 3 minutes each to speak about their experience. So I invite you to actually, if you're having trouble thinking of a time, just maybe center yourself, just take a breath. Center. And just invite wherever these inspirations come from, invite that experience to show up for you, that experience sometime in your life when someone gave to you. And it really felt like a gift without expectations or demands. And if you're having trouble thinking of an experience, that's okay. I have full confidence that in your small group, you will have plenty to talk about in exploring this theme of freely giving, freely receiving. Okay, let's go into the breakout groups.
Yeah, was reassigning some people because there was some people on their own and some people in twos. I think what we have now, Jean, is everyone except for 2 people who are in one room of 2.
Well, that is a real gift. Janet, thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to see you later. Okay, go and have fun, I hope. That's the invitation.
And how long would you like this
3
for,
minutes
Jean?
each. 3 minutes each with about a minute extra for transitioning in and out, saying hello, getting started, figuring out who's going first. So 10 minutes altogether.
Okay, there are actually 2 rooms of 2, but I don't have time, so I will just
That's
open.
okay. That's okay.
All right. And we'll wait to see if anybody accidentally gets left in the main room. Malise, are you wanting to be in a room? You're muted, Malise.
I'm fine here. Thank you.
Okay. And Jaya, would you like to be in a room?
No, I'm sorry. I have a bad internet connection here. I get dropped off very easily. So I'm just listening in. Is
That's
that okay?
absolutely, oh, absolutely. I'm just checking. And
Yeah, I can go to a room. Yeah.
Who is that speaking?
This is Vanita.
Oh, Vanita. Okay, I will look for you and do my best to put you in a room.
I'm Vanita.
Yes, I have found you. I'm looking for a room
Okay.
that needs you. Okay, I'm going to put you into room 5. Should be coming now. Anyone else in the main room that would like to go to a breakout room? I see there's someone called Renee. And Monica, I guess speak up if you would like to go into a room and you're not in one.
I was in a room, but I guess they didn't really know I was there and I didn't want to interrupt their conversation. So maybe another room.
And who is I?
I'm sorry?
Your name?
Monica.
Monica. Okay, got it. That's strange that you're not showing up as Monica on my unassigned list.
Monica Meyer is in the main room, wanting to go into a breakout room. And also there was a message from Mel, who would like to join a breakout room. So maybe Mel and Monica Meyer could go together.
Monica's name is not showing up. That is the challenge.
Oh, I was here yesterday. That's weird.
In the main room?
No. It's everybody else is showing up in the main room, but you are not for some reason.
I see Monica Meyer, and I could move you,
Yeah.
Monica, if you'd like.
Yeah,
Actually,
maybe Monica Meyer with Mel.
It shows you already in room 5.
Yeah, that's strange. So Mel, I'm going to move you to 12. So you will be getting an invite now.
Where's Monica? Okay.
It looks like she's gone. Maybe she didn't accept the invite.
That's okay. So she's in a room. She's in room 5 now.
Yes, what I meant was when she first saw it.
Oh, okay.
Maria, are you okay in the main room? You're on mute. If you're trying to talk to me, I'm not sure. Okay, she's got a thumbs up. Great. Okay, sounds like everyone is in a room that wants to be. I think we've had about 4.5 minutes so far, but some people have been in the room long, Jean. So how much more time would you like?
I believe we've got about 5 minutes before I was anticipating everyone would come back.
Okay, so in about 3 minutes, I'll give them the 120-second warning.
Sure, thank you.
So at 8:48 or so.
Yeah, that should be fine.
I'm going to let them know they have 4 minutes left. So the clock is ticking down now. Forty seconds to go.
Thank you. Okay. I think everybody for coming back. Such a joy always to see the faces pop back on. So we have a few minutes, just a few short minutes, and it's enough. I would love to hear anything that you noticed. Especially, did you notice, I'm curious if there was a difference between the first sharing and the second sharing, or anything else that you would find very meaningful to share with the group. So I request some help for looking for hands.
Yeah, just scrolling through. I don't see anyone yet.
Okay.
Please raise your real hand or your electronic hand.
We have Margaret.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'd like to say that I recognize that sometimes it's hard to receive a gift without thinking there's something expected. And that's what I found was, I think that sadly, most of our giving and receiving has been conditional or expectations. And it's just like NVC, it's a new language we have to learn, where we're giving with the freedom of feeding the ducks, as Marshall said, with that joy. And this opened it up to me to recognize that it isn't always material things either. Giving of our time, our listening ear, our empathy, our presence, all of that can be the life-giving gift that we give freely. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Yes, I think that does point out to how sometimes it is a real shift to even imagine the possibility of freely giving, freely receiving from our hearts instead of from our heads, telling me we have to, and telling us that there's rules about it, and it's all about debt and burden, and we want to free ourselves from all of that. And yes, I think freely giving can be as simple as giving a smile as we're walking down the street, or waving to somebody. Or, during our lockdowns last year, people put teddy bears in their windows, just as a sign of warmth and greeting. And it can be that simple. Yeah, thank you so much. Is there someone else who'd like to share?
Sarah Joy is ready.
Thank
If
you.
you'd
Go
like
ahead.
to.
Yeah, I had a slightly different experience. The very first time I started an NVC actual practice class was after 3 Marshall Rosenberg entries, and then a lot of time in between. Patty Zeitlin came into my neighborhood and was offering a class in empathy, and I signed up for it. And it turned out that 2 of the classes I was not well, and I missed 2 in a row, and I was feeling very disappointed because here I was trying to dive into practice, and I shared that with her. And she said, well, I'll come over one day to your house and just offer you empathy. And it was like, you will? And it was like, and I said yes. And she came over and asked me, one thing that I was feeling uncomfortable about or needed empathy with. And I started talking. And then I noticed when at first I didn't notice, when she started giving me empathy, I wasn't receiving it. I was busy talking. And then she gently let me know that she, was giving me empathy. And all of a sudden I realized this is what she came here to do. And I opened up to it. And it was very moving and powerful and transformational for me. And I'm so appreciative to her. And it really got me involved in NVC on a regular basis. So that was my initial real experience with it.
Thank you for the gift of that story. It really highlights for me that receiving is not always easy, and it is such a gift when we can do it, because I'm imagining that when she gently reminded you that that's what she came to do, that she really wanted to give, and she really wanted you to receive that gift. And then until you could receive her gift, she didn't have that sense of the song that I read from in the beginning. It's a gift to her when you received. And that's a piece that I find over and over. And when we speak even of giving empathy, I notice that over the years, I've become uncomfortable with that, because yes, I'm giving, but when I'm giving empathy, I'm also receiving that gift of stepping into empathic space. So I don't know if I'm giving empathy or if I'm receiving, your attention. Or really what it boils down to for me is we both get to dive into that space of giving and receiving, where there isn't giving versus receiving. We're just diving into the gift. Just diving into the gift and just diving into that place where that sort of non-dual place, if I may, right? That place where there's only gift, there's only giver / receiver, but really it's not even a noun anymore at that point. It's freely giving, freely receiving. It's a verb. We get to be that verb of gifting and receiving. And there isn't one word that quite cuts it, right? But we get to be the verb that is all about the open-hearted flow of life. So I cannot believe how quickly this time goes. Yeah, Don, you had a quick something?
What came up for me was hitchhiking around Australia and the friendliness and hospitality that was given. And I felt there wasn't any expectation. Just a young guy and a friend hitchhiking around Australia. What friendliness and what hospitality. Thank you.
Yeah, friendliness and hospitality. And they gave you a ride, and I'm guessing you gave your stories and your presence and your gratitude. Yeah, thank you so much. So, my goodness, this time went quickly. I'm feeling so grateful for your attention and your engagement, your participation. I'm feeling also that sense of inspiration and knowing that there are so many people who want to live this path with me, and gives me such a sense of companionship. So thank you so much. I want to remind everybody that you will receive the recording at the end. And if you've all registered, and if you have not registered, you still can. And there's a link for that, which hopefully is going in the chat. And I can put it in the chat.
It's there.
It's there, good, okay. And I want to please just consider again those requests to support CNBC. All the profits from the book will go to CNVC, so you can support CNVC with a direct donation or by buying the book. There should be one more link about registering for the event if you haven't already done that.
Well, there's the feedback form.
Feedback
And
form.
then there's another link for the feedback form. Yeah, here. I will quickly copy the link for registering in case you did not register, because that will be the key to getting the recordings. And then there's a feedback form. So we would love it if you would give the gift of your feedback, which is so important for any future kind of events. It contributes to our need for learning, which ultimately, hopefully, will contribute to more effective, more joyful presentations. So we would really appreciate your feedback. And I see Jim's kind of coming back on here. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
Again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your donations and for your purchases of the book. I really appreciate being here with you. And I'll turn it over to Jim.
Thank you so much, Jean, for actually putting us smack dab in the middle of compassionate giving and receiving in so many different ways, not only in your presentation, but I noticed that it's like sometimes when I hear these requests for, you know, buy my book or I'll give money to CNBC, I notice a clenching in my body. But when I remember what you shared with us today, I realized that these are requests and not demands, and that actually awakens the opportunity for me to check whether I want to compassionately give or not. I don't want anybody here to buy a book out of any sense of duty or obligation. I don't want anybody to give one single penny that's not given out of that, the joy of a child feeding a hungry duck. So thank you for awakening that in me. And thank you also for demonstrating that here you are, volunteering your time, probably on a wonderful Sunday afternoon in New Zealand, where you could be doing 10,000 things, and yet you're choosing to be here to share with our community something that's precious to you. So thank you so much for being here.
Well, you're welcome. And I want to say, yes, I gave my time. But again, I want to emphasize it's just been such a joy to know that there are so many people who are interested in this topic. And it's such a joy to contribute and receive with you, Jim. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And so it's just now the top of the hour. So let's just take a quick break. And still waiting, I think, for Angela to arrive. She might be having some difficulty getting in. So why don't you, everyone, let's just take about a 4-minute break. And then we'll see what happens next. And if you're here, Angela, and I can't see you because maybe you came in on another name, please let me know. But I'm going to stop the recording temporarily and then restart it when we get started again.